Hey everyone, I'm from the nonprofit edtech organization Skill Wanderer, and today we're going to dive into a mindset that can absolutely change the game when it comes to software quality. Let's get right into it.
I mean, how perfect is this analogy? It just nails the entire concept, doesn't it? Are you showing up at the end just to point out what's wrong? Or are you there from the start, helping make sure quality is baked right in? That's the huge shift we're talking about today.
Oh man, we've all felt this, right? That horrible, sinking feeling in your stomach. A massive, show-stopping bug suddenly appears, just hours before a big release. It's pure chaos, it's super expensive, and, as we're about to see, it's often completely preventable. And this right here, this is the whole idea in a nutshell. We are literally flipping the script. We're moving from a reactive mode, where we're just finding problems that are already there, to a proactive one, where we stop them from ever happening in the first place. Such a simple idea, but the impact is massive. So, to really appreciate why the new way is so much better, we first have to talk about the old way. Let's take a look at why waiting until the end to test is so inefficient and so darn stressful. For decades, this is what it looked like. Testing was this final, frantic hurdle you had to jump over. It gets crammed into the very end of the timeline, right when the pressure is at its absolute peak and time is running out. It's basically a recipe for disaster. So, how do we fix this? Well, the great news is we're not talking about adding a ton more work. We're just changing when we think about quality. And that one little shift in timing, well, it changes everything. Okay, so let's put a name to it. Shift-left testing. It is exactly what it sounds like. We're taking all those testing activities and shifting them to the left on the timeline, to the very beginning. For all you Blackbox testers out there, the big light bulb moment is realizing you're not just testing code, you're testing the idea.
And just look at this beautiful new timeline. Testing is no longer this scary bottleneck at the end. It's a collaborative partner from day one, right when we're talking about what to build. Quality becomes part of the conversation, not some final exam. Now this is where it gets really, really interesting, because we're talking about money. Finding a logic problem in a document is incredibly cheap to fix. You just change some words. But finding that same exact problem after it's been coded and shipped to customers, it can be 100 times more expensive to fix. Shifting left isn't just good for quality, it's just plain good for business.
Okay, this all sounds amazing in theory, right? But how do you actually do it? Let's get into the practical stuff. This is the toolkit we teach at Skill Wanderer that turns any tester into a bug prevention superhero, no coding required.
You have 3 golden opportunities to make a huge impact. First, before a single line of code is written, you're reading the documents. Second, you're in those early meetings, asking the smart questions. And third, while the developers are coding away, you're already getting your tests ready so you can hit the ground running.
So when you're reading those documents, you're basically testing the text. You're hunting for ambiguous words, like what does fast actually mean? You're looking for contradictions, where one rule completely clashes with another. But the big one is looking for what's missing, all those error cases and unhappy paths that nobody's thought of yet.
A fantastic technique for this is the 3 amigos meeting. You get the business expert, the technical expert, and you, the quality expert, all in one room. Your job in that meeting is to be the voice of the user and the master of asking what if. And that brings us to your single most powerful tool. It's not some fancy software, it's not some complicated process, it's your own curiosity. The art of asking really good what-if questions is the absolute heart of shifting left. So you ask questions like this one. You start thinking about the real world. What happens if the connection drops? Does the user lose all their data? Do we show them a clear message? You have to think about all those edge cases. What does this screen look like when an account is totally new and has nothing in it? These empty states are so often forgotten in the initial design.
And you have to think like someone who's trying to break the system. What happens if a user does something they're not supposed to? Does the app handle it gracefully, or does it just crash and burn? Answering these questions now saves so much heartache later.
Okay, let's put it all together. I want to walk you through a quick, real-world example so you can see just how this mindset prevents actual bugs from ever being born.
All right, here's our requirement. Seems simple enough, doesn't it? Users get a discount on their birthday. Looks totally fine on the surface, but a shift-left tester sees this and immediately knows it is a minefield of ambiguity.
So you start asking those what-if questions. How big is the discount? When does the offer start and when does it end? Can I stack this with other sales? And of course, the classic edge case. What about someone born on February 29th?
And there it is, the payoff. In just a minute or two of asking questions, we've probably found and prevented at least 5 potential bugs. And the best part? Not a single developer has written a single line of code yet. That is the incredible power of shifting left.
Now let's quickly bust a few myths. Number 1, you don't need to learn to code to do this. You just need to learn to think earlier. Number 2, this isn't just about automation. Asking a single good question is a shift-left activity. And number 3, no, it doesn't take more time. It saves a massive amount of time by preventing painful rework later on.
So, if you take away just one thing today, I hope it's this. This is about more than a process. It's an identity shift. You're no longer just the person who finds mistakes at the end of the line. You are a quality advocate, a risk expert, and a bug preventer from the very start of the project.
Here at Skill Wanderer, we believe in empowering people with these powerful new ways of thinking. So I'll leave you with a challenge. Take this mindset with you. In your very next project meeting, what is the first what-if question you are going to ask? Thanks for joining me.